more than 1 million CenterPoint customers still without power this morning. Many have had to deal with just unbearable heat.
And if you're without air conditioning, obviously you want answers this morning. We're going to try to get some for you from Michelle Hunley, Manager of External Communications with CenterPoint Energy. Michelle, good morning. What are some of the problems the crews have been facing out there trying to get the power back online?
Good morning, Owen. Thank you so much for having us this morning. This morning we are still reviewing and assessing the damage. As you know, we have 1.3 million customers still affected. However, we have restored over 630 in the last 24 hours. Although the dirty side, what they call the dirty side of Hurricane Beryl, directly impacted a majority of the company's 5,000 square mile system, it resulted in downed trees, branches, and other debris affecting the distribution poles and wires. Overall, the system and systems integrity is good, but I know people don't want to hear that. They want to hear, when am I going to be restored? Just like the rest of our customers, many of us also are out of power, unfortunately. But we're continuing to work 24 hours a day or throughout the day, more than 24 hours a day. And we're trying to get everyone restored as quickly and safely as possible. We have boots on the ground, we have drones in the air. We're certainly aware of the weather, and the people that are working out there are working in this heat as well. So please be kind, and if you see them, please stay out of their way, stay away from them. We want to get you up as quickly as possible. Please stay away from any down wires. If you see any down wires, call us immediately. And just stay safe, 35 feet at minimum from those wires. We've been hearing, people have been riding their bikes over the wires and going near them. And we really want people to be safe. Safety is our #1 priority. And so please be safe. The other issue, and as many of you may have remembered from the May storms, is check your weather heads, because you want to be restored as quickly as possible. We want to make sure that you're restored. Check your weather heads, make sure that they are in working order, so that as we continue to restore the communities, you can receive power as soon as practically possible. So thank you again. We want to thank our customers for their patience throughout this entire process, and their support, and we will continue to work as diligently as possible to get everyone restored as quickly as possible. Right now we are on target to have 1 million customers up and running by the end of this day.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know, Michelle, because we know that the crews are out there. They're working around the clock. We see them. We appreciate them. But can you tell us, were enough crews staged across the Houston area before the storm hit? Would you say that there were enough crews requested before the storm actually hit?
Absolutely. As everyone was watching the weather, we were diligently watching as well. We had a call out prior to landfall for mutual aid. They were already in the region, and they were staged prior to landfall of Beryl. As Beryl continued to change its course, and we made another call out to additional mutual aid workers. So yes, we certainly had everyone in place and ready to go. In the region, of course, we don't want to bring in mutual aid into the eye of the storm where they're unsafe and the equipment could potentially be damaged. So everyone was in the region and ready to go. We had boots on the ground immediately after the storm left on Monday. We were already making assessments. So absolutely had the right resources in place at the right time.
Hey, Michelle, before you go, we want to ask you about the outage map. I mean, I can remember back to a time where you could zoom in down almost to your street and kind of figure out how many outages were in your neighborhood, and then that changed. And then you finally released a new outage map. What was the situation there? Why did it kind of take so long for that transition to happen? Because I feel like the map really was a source of comfort for a lot of people.
Yes, thank you, Owen. So absolutely. This is actually not an outage map. What it is, it's a restoration status tracker.
Okay.
So unlike the outage map that would tell you how many people were out and that information, this is actually telling you when the restoration, where are you in the restoration process. So it's different than the original map. The original map, what happened is we had too many people, and there were a lot of third-party companies as well that were trying to read the map all at the same time, and it just caused issues. So we had to take it down. We are currently working on another map that's going to be cloud-based so that we don't have that same issue going forward. That should be released fairly soon, and then we're going to have another map at the beginning of next year that should be better and provide additional information to our customers. So we hear our customers, we hear their frustration, and we are working on a solution that will address those frustrations. In the meantime, we also heard our customers about restoration status, and so that's what we did. We created a restoration status tracker. So you can utilize this to just look at where you are in the restoration process, and we hope this answers some questions throughout the rest of the restoration process.
Yeah, and we know we'll have you back on our live stream a little bit later this morning, I think. Michelle, thank you. We do want to have some follow-up questions about tree trimming and the like. So we do appreciate your time this morning, but for now we're going to run. But thanks so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate everything you all are doing to keep everyone informed. So thank you.
Indeed. All right.
Thank you.